In this video, I'm going to be doing a live audit on the email marketing strategies of 3 random e-commerce brands. I want to talk about what they're doing wrong and why it's losing them sales. I've scaled countless brands through email marketing and at this point have generated over $12 million in solely email marketing revenue. If you're an e-commerce brand owner, watch along as I do this audit because you might be making a lot of the same mistakes and it could be losing you revenue on a daily basis. So enough talking, let's just get straight into it. All right, so the first brand we are going to be reviewing is Fuzzyard. Now, I came across this brand maybe about a week ago. I signed up for their list about a week ago, and I wanted to go over them first because there were a couple things that really kind of caught my attention. Just a disclaimer here, I don't work with this brand. I'm simply on their list, and I figured I'd kind of do an audit on their strategy and kind of show you guys and walk you through my process when I look at brands. All of these insights are taken by literally just being on their list. I don't have the inside look at their actual account. All right, so the first thing I want to do here is take a look at their pop-up form, okay? So that is kind of like the floodgates to their list. Without a good pop-up form, you just aren't really going to get a lot of people on your list. If you want a comprehensive full video, full guide on how to make a killer pop-up form, I have a video on that on my account. Feel free to watch that. Let's go straight into it. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna open up an incognito tab so that their form will actually appear again. And I am going to take a look at their form. Let's see. Let's take a look at what they're working with. Okay, so right off the bat, a couple things I noticed. Number one, there's a lot going on here. It's pretty hard to look at. I mean, I don't know if you guys agree, but me personally, this wouldn't really sit right with me if I was shopping around and I saw this. So that's number one. Number two, look at all the fields of information they're asking for. They're asking for first name, last name, email address, birthday, and country. And if you watch my pop-up form video, you'll know the more information you ask for from the shopper, the lower your submission rate gets. And the reason for that is because this inherently just looks like more work for the shopper. Although this isn't very intrusive information like birthday and country, when a shopper sees 5, 6, 7 different forms, 7 different empty white boxes that they have to fill out, it just looks like more work. It looks more intimidating. A lot more people are just gonna see this and close the form like instantly, okay? So you wanna kind of simplify this. All I would recommend here is literally only ask for email on the first slide. If you're collecting SMS, ask for that on the second slide. You don't need to collect first name. You don't need to collect last name. You don't need to collect birthday or country. I mean, you might need to collect country depending on if you have multiple locations. But collecting first name, in my opinion, is just not worth the signups you're gonna lose. Yes, it's cool to personalize your emails. It can kind of make people feel special. In my opinion, it doesn't really influence conversions that much. And it's not worth it when you consider how many signups you're gonna lose by literally just asking for first and last name. So I would literally only ask for email address in this form, and then on the next slide, ask for SMS. That's all you have to do. This is way too complicated, and it's losing you signups. So as you can see here, I've been on their list for about a week or so now. So the first thing you'll notice here is that they're running double opt-in, okay? So what this is, and I'm sure you've seen this, is a confirm your subscription email. So this right here absolutely just murders and butchers email signups. What this is doing, when someone signs up for their list using their pop-up form on their site, typically what's supposed to happen is they're immediately supposed to be sent the first email in their welcome series, which I'll go over. This is also very under-optimized for sales, but I'll talk about that next. But this email right here is losing them signups because a lot of people are gonna sign up for your list using your form, and they're gonna get this generic looking email by Klaviyo, basically asking them to confirm their subscription again, right? And a lot of people, number one, are either not gonna see the email, they're gonna get distracted, they're gonna change their mind. There's a million reasons why they wouldn't come back and subscribe again, right? But it's losing signups, it's just adding more steps in the process, it's adding more friction to the process. You want people to just be able to join your list as easily as possible. And this is just making things a lot more complicated. You'd be surprised how many brands don't really know that you can just turn this off in Klaviyo settings. It's pretty annoying, it's just on by default, but you can actually turn it off. And so I'll show you how to do that right now. All right, so I'm in kind of like a dummy account here. I just wanted to kind of show you how you would turn it off. So you go to your list and segments page in your Klaviyo account. You're gonna go to your main list. Whatever list people get added to after they sign up, you're gonna go to that. You're gonna click the dots on the right-hand side, go to list settings right here. And what you're gonna do is go to here and go to consent, scroll all the way down, and you're gonna see opt-in process. If you have confirm your subscription on, your box is gonna be checked as double opt-in. And for some reason, Klaviyo said it's recommended. Please do not do this. You're gonna uncheck that and click single opt-in. That way, people are just gonna sign up for your form and immediately get sent the first email, no interruption, no extra steps, okay? So that's how you do that. So that's double opt-in. Now let's take a look at their actual emails. So this is the first welcome email in their series. Okay, right off the bat, there's a couple things I'm noticing. Number one, 99% of people who open this email, all they really care about, if we're being totally honest with ourselves, is their discount code, right? People are selfish, people have short attention spans, they signed up for a reason, they didn't just sign up for no reason, right? They're looking for their discount. And so your job here is to give them that code as easily and as quickly as possible, okay? You want, if you do anything in this email, deliver your code, right? Because obviously somebody who's armed with a discount code is gonna be a lot more likely to purchase. So, this code is way too far down in the email, right? If I open the email, this is all I see. I don't see a code, I don't see a single button. You want your code and your button to be as high up in the email as possible. People should be able to locate it extremely easily. It should be a frictionless process for people. There should be no cognition required, right? You should be able to open the email, see the code, click the button, go to your site and purchase, okay? And I know it seems very simple, but you'd be surprised at how much, I've tested this multiple times. You'd be surprised at how much moving the discount code and the button as the first thing in the email, you'd be surprised how much it increases conversion. So I strongly recommend you try that. So that's that. I'm also noticing that this brand is running header buttons. So you see these buttons here, apparel, walking, toys, and bedding. These buttons are also losing them sales. Their conversion rate is suffering because of these buttons. The reason for that is because, again, people have short attention spans nowadays. You have to understand TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, right? People are constantly being stimulated, kind of like you are right now watching this video. People are constantly being stimulated. And so a lot of people are just going to open the email. They're going to see a button and they're going to click it and they're going to go to your site. Like, people move very fast nowadays. They have multiple tabs open with, 3 of your competitors open. So, you don't want to distract people from your call to action. A lot of people will just, come in, open the email, click a button and go to your site. And now they're off the email. Now they didn't see your discount code and they're just browsing around your site aimlessly with no code. And obviously, like I said, somebody with a discount code is going to be a lot more likely to actually purchase from you, okay? So I would recommend removing these header buttons and moving them to the bottom of the email. That's what I do with all of my clients. Also, it looks like a pretty generic kind of like templated email, which is fine, but honestly, I kind of like to spice things up in terms of design. This text block is really heavy. I mean, it's a huge block of text there. You want to keep your emails kind of like short and to the point nowadays. You don't want to have like, massive blocks of text like this because, again, most people are just looking for their code, and most people nowadays, they're very visual, right? They're not going to read a massive block of text like this, most likely, especially, like I said, when they're moving really fast, when they have multiple tabs open and they're, clicking out of emails really quickly and just scrolling. Like, people skim emails nowadays. They don't really kind of like sit there and really like analyze the email. It just doesn't happen anymore. So they could totally condense this, kind of use graphics and imagery to get their point across. I'll show you some examples of that. So check out these emails that we've made, okay? Notice what I mean about not that much text, right? We're not overloading people with text. The button is really high up. We have nice big headings. We have a cool lifestyle image, again, to stimulate people. Give them something to look at. Don't make your emails boring. We have a section here highlighting what makes this brand better than the competitors, right? We're not just listing out bullet points why this brand is better. We're showing it in a chart. We're using graphics and using something that's easy on the eyes to get our point across, right? Durable, timeless, innovative, and versatile. All the other mass-produced brands, they're flimsy, they're trendy, they're generic, and they're limited. They're only for certain occasions. Whereas us, we have everything, right? And you're showing that with icons as opposed to just, being Shakespeare in your emails. You don't want to be Shakespeare. So notice a common theme, right? You want to have your buttons high up. You want to have clear call to actions. You want to have cool images, bright colors, obviously depending on what your brand colors are. But the number one thing you don't want to do is have generic kind of emails that look like this, because again, people need to be stimulated. People get tired of this type of stuff very quickly. It looks kind of like low effort. It looks like a template, and people, shoppers are sophisticated nowadays. They know how to spot that, right? So you want to stand out. Like here's another one of their emails. Here's another example. So this is literally a different email, but this section is completely the same, right? New season walking range, fuzz yard life. Let's go back to this one. New season walking range, Fuzz Yard Life, and the loyalty program. It's the same thing. They're clearly using a template, right? And here's another one. Look, again, same exact thing, right? So moral of the story here is switch things up. You shouldn't be using the same thing over and over again. That's another thing this brand is not really doing properly. Now, another thing I'm noticing here, this is the welcome email, right? So this is pretty much the first touch point with the shopper. You want to leave a really good impression. And if you think about a welcome flow, right, this is your opportunity to take this warm lead and convert them into a customer, right? They signed up for your list. They're obviously somewhat interested in your brand. Maybe they're on the fence, they're considering purchasing with you. your goal is to walk them through that process and get them to purchase from you, okay? And you do that by not only delivering the discount code and making that easy for them, but also by showing unique selling propositions, showing the brand history, showing risk reversals, right? Things like that people really like to see. Social proof, right? And there's not much of that in here, right? You very well could have added, testimonials from real customers. Again, unique selling propositions, stuff like this right here, right? You totally could have added that. I'm not seeing many of those. I'm not seeing really anything about the brand history, about the team behind the brand. If you have a cool story, you want to highlight that in your welcome flow. And so moral of the story here, I'm kind of just looking at the welcome flow and the pop-up, and already I'm seeing a ton of room for improvement, right? So that goes to show you how high leverage email marketing really is. I don't even have an inside look at this person's account or this brand's account, and I can tell you firsthand, they're already leaving thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars on the table every single month. All right, so next up on the list, our next lucky winner today is Hamboard. So they sell, it looks like longboards and skateboards and things of that stuff, things of that nature. That's pretty cool. Let us kind of go into what they're doing wrong. Let's look at their pop-up form. Let's look at their welcome emails. Let's look at some of their campaigns, and we'll talk about where they're losing some sales. So I'm going to open up an incognito tab here. I'm going to go to hamboards.com. Oh, wow. Okay, so did you guys see that? Did you catch what happened there? So as soon as I landed on the site, their form instantly deployed. Okay, they didn't give me a chance to catch my breath. They didn't give me a chance to scroll around and see any products. They immediately asked me for my email address, and they're not giving me an incentive. So if I'm a shopper, I'm gonna be kind of annoyed right now, right? I'm sure you've experienced this. You've been shopping around on a brand, and you get on the site, and instantly they start bombarding you for information. And it's even worse when they don't give you a discount. At least give them a discount if you're gonna bombard people. So number one, the delay on this form is just not high enough. It's deploying instantly. You want your form to deploy anywhere from like 5 to 8 seconds after the person lands on the site, because when you deploy it immediately, number one, it's annoying. It's just spammy. It hurts the user experience. But number two, people don't really know what you sell yet. If it's cold traffic, they have no interest in joining your list yet. They don't know what you sell. They don't know if they want to purchase from you. Even if you're giving 10% off, they don't know if they even like you yet. They haven't seen anything, and you're already asking for information, right? So strongly recommend you increase the delay on this form to anywhere from like 5 to 8 seconds. Give people a chance to catch their breath. Give people a chance to see maybe a product or two that piques their interest. So when you actually do deploy that form, it's going to be received a lot better, and people are going to actually, care and sign up. So that's number one. Number two, they're not running an incentive. So a lot of brands don't like running incentives. It's not the end of the world. I'm not saying like you direly need to run an incentive, but I would strongly recommend it. It can be something small. If you don't want to give like a 10% off, you can even give like a 5% off or a $5 off, something like that. Something to kind of make people feel special. Because when was the last time that you went on a site and signed up for a list for no reason, right? Like I personally am not going to sign up for this list. I don't want to receive exclusive offers and discounts. I want a discount right now, right? And I'm not going to give away my personal information for no reason at all. So definitely try a sign up, definitely try an incentive there. Now, moving on to some of their campaigns and also some of the emails in their welcome flow. Number one, they're running double opt-in. You'd be surprised how many brands are doing this. I strongly recommend you check to make sure you're not doing this. So that's number one. Now let's look at some of their campaigns, some of their emails, okay? So again, these are very under-optimized for sales. Honestly, even more so than the other brand. These, again, look very templated. They look very generic. It's clearly a template that they kind of plug and play. Let's look at some of their other ones. Yeah, so once again, right, you see a lot of people are doing this. And this is hurting sales, right? This is really hurting sales. People are getting desensitized to this brand's emails. They probably don't care too much when they send an email. I also just saw a big red board twice. So this was 4 days ago, and this was 2 days ago. So they just reused the same exact email twice, okay? A lot of brands will do that. If you guys are doing that, I strongly encourage you to try as much as possible to not do that. Again, people are gonna get desensitized. Every email you send should be different. It should be a different design. You should switch something up. You don't wanna be kind of like fatiguing people, right? If you're sending the same communication over and over and over again, people eventually are going to get fatigued and they're going to stop caring, and your open rates are going to go down, and even worse, conversions are going to go down. You're going to make less money, okay? In this email particularly, the first button is not till pretty far down in the email. Again, you want your buttons to be very high up. Again, huge block of text here. You never want to have that. That's pretty self-explanatory. I'm not seeing an awful lot of products to choose from. I'm not seeing an awful lot of categories or collections or anything. And once again, this is the same email as this one. So the last 4 campaigns I received were just duplicates, it seems like. So that's obviously a problem in itself, right? They're just reusing the same exact designs. This brand is losing tons of revenue there. What I would do is, number one, fix that sign up form, fix the delay, add an incentive, even if it's a very small one. I would make, I actually didn't receive a welcome email. I just realized that. None of these are welcome emails. They're not giving an incentive, so they probably think like, oh, we don't need to send a welcome email. But even if you're not sending an incentive, people need to see you, right? It's just another touch point with shoppers. That's really all I can see from the outside looking in. But again, that alone would make them colossal amounts of money. Let's look at the last brand. So this brand is called Shark Wheel. I'm not sure if you've heard of them. They're actually a pretty cool brand. I love the stuff they sell. So this brand is called Shark Wheel. Now, they were actually on Shark Tank. I'm not sure if you've heard of them. They're actually a pretty cool brand. But we are going to take a look at their pop-up form, some of their emails, and kind of see what we can find. So first thing I want to do here is open up an incognito tab, and I want to take a look at their form. Okay, so let's see what we're working with. All right, so their form seems to be deploying after a couple seconds, which is fine. They don't sell super high ticket stuff, so that's fine. The form itself doesn't look great. It's pretty small. I don't really like the background. It's kind of hard to read this. It's kind of clashing. This consent text here does not need to be included if, obviously in the United States. It's totally legal to email this person when they give you their email address. That's literally all the consent you need. You only need to have consent text like this when you ask for SMS, not email. So they could remove that. All right, so let's go ahead and subscribe. And okay, so you'll notice they're giving me the discount code in the, oh, look, wait a minute. They're giving me 15% off. So they just gave me 15% off in the form, but they didn't mention it in the actual sign up form, right? So they just gave me a discount code, but they didn't say anything about it. So that is losing them signups, right? People would love to get 15% off. That would skyrocket their submission rate if people just knew it existed. Right now, people don't even know it exists because, as you saw, they didn't say anything about it. They just said sign up for I think it was like a fun newsletter. Sign up for discounts and a fun newsletter. That doesn't appeal to anybody. They're giving a huge incentive here of 15% off, but they're not telling anybody. So that's a simple fix right there. Just literally add 15% off to the first step of the form. Number 2, they're giving the discount code in the actual form. So that's another no-no. You never want to do that. You always want to have the person go to their inbox and open your email there and get the code. The reason for that is because, number 1, it helps deliverability. That email, that welcome email, is going to have a really high open rate because everyone wants their code. So that's going to help inbox providers like Yahoo and Gmail and Outlook see you as reputable, and they're going to keep you out of the spam folder. So it's going to help with your deliverability, actually. Number 2, it kind of conditions people in a way to see you in their inbox, right? You don't want to give the code in the email and then 4 or 5 days later they see you for the first time and it's kind of like weird, right? They're like, who is this? I don't remember signing up, that type of thing. And they're going to be much more likely to unsubscribe. So never give the code in the actual form. Always give it in the first email. Now, as you can see, I've been on this brand's list for a long time. I don't even remember signing up, honestly. But again, same kind of situation, right? I mean, there's no heading. There's no call to action. Well, I guess this is the heading here. So they're giving a discount code. This was for Black Friday. They were giving a discount code and they put it in this small itty bitty text in the email, right? That you're giving a huge discount. It seems like maybe half off. If that's the case, that should be the first thing people see. It should be in huge letters, right? People want to see that. And you're kind of like almost hiding it from people. You're making it like a scavenger hunt to find the discount code. So that's number 1. Number 2, it's a super long email, and all this is just like a million things in one. You want to make sure you're keeping your emails very concise, right? One unique selling proposition, one message per email. People have short attention spans. You can't put a million things into an email because no one's scrolling to the very bottom of the email like I just did. Like, think about how many scrolls that took. It took me like 5 scrolls just to get to the bottom, okay? And that's just wasting time, adding friction, and your message is just gonna get lost, right, in the noise. Again, here's another one, right? Last minute holiday sale. Use code Monday24 at checkout. And they're hiding it. Like, this should be the first thing people see. It should be in nice big letters. There should be a nice big button right under it, okay? So again, just easy low-hanging fruit. And look how long the email is, number 1. They're clearly templated, again, right? That's a common theme you'll see. These obviously, they don't take too much time to make. They're just kind of like generic templates that they plug and play, which it sounds like. Right here, it looks like they sent me the same exact email twice, almost a month apart. That's kind of strange. So are they at least different content or what? Okay, so they just used the same subject line. That's very interesting. Same subject line, different email, same template though. Yeah, tons of improvement here. Number one is kind of like touching that pop-up form. That's the first order of business. And then they need to kind of overhaul their entire email design as well. You know, I actually didn't get an email after signing up as well. So that's a whole nother problem. That's kind of what I can see off of just the sign up form and the welcome flow. That alone, if they were to implement all of that stuff, and if you guys are watching this and you're in a similar situation, implement everything I just said, I guarantee you guys that alone, you'll see huge increases in revenue, and that's only about like 5% of an actual email strategy. So there you have it. That was a little mini audit on 3 random e-commerce brands explaining where they're losing sales in their pop-up and their welcome flow. If you're someone who wants to learn more about email marketing to make your business more money, I have a completely free newsletter where I send out weekly tips and advice similar to the advice you just saw in this video. Feel free to join with the first link in the description. Again, it's totally free. Also, if you'd rather just sit back and have my team of experts come in and help scale your brand with email, feel free to book in a chat with me with another link in the description, and I will do a full audit on your e-commerce brand with you on a call, and we can go over it together. Thank you guys for watching, and I can't wait to see you all in the next video.